Hey, this is Mike Robinson. These are my videos to help you be a success in college. Alright, this is the third video in my series to help undergraduates be successful. If you haven't seen the first ones, go check them out. The links are in the description below. Otherwise, let's go. Welcome to college. It's time for class. Alright, so this video is TLDW. There's two sets of things to worry about that we're going to talk about in this video. One is getting ready for the first day of class, and the other one is getting ready for every day, right? So the first day has some special things for it, and then there are everyday classes that you're going to want to be ready for in a particular way. Summarize. To prepare for the first day, know where your classes are. Check out the class on Canvas or Blackboard ahead of time. You never know what there's going to be there. Maybe there's notes to download or something. Buy your books, maybe, and supplies. Sometimes the professor will say, well, these are books for the class, but you don't actually need all of them. Come early. Come ready to take notes, whether it's a notebook, laptop, iPad. Be attentive. Pay attention to the entire class. Keep your phone on silent. Leave it in your pocket. Get the syllabus. Read it carefully. We'll talk about what you have to do with it in another video, okay? But get the syllabus and pay attention to it. Meet people in your class, okay? Introduce yourself to somebody, anybody. At least meet one person in your class the first day. And get to know your profs. What about every day? So, some of the things I mentioned before you definitely need to do: show up early, come ready to take notes, be attentive. Know what's going to happen ahead of time before you come to class. So you have a syllabus, know what you're doing in class that day. Read before you come to class. There will be assigned readings. Read them before the class. That'll help you prepare for the class. And prepare questions to ask. So it could be something from the reading or something from the previous notes, but prepare some questions to ask. And remember, if you want a transcript, email me at that address. But let's get into the details. So, how do you prepare and behave in class? I mentioned this in a previous video, in case you were wondering. Lots and lots of gems in these other videos, so check them out. Adjust your sleep habits a bit before the first day of class. Do it slowly, but if you're used to sleeping in late, then an 8 o'clock class is going to hurt. Know where your classes are. During orientation, find the buildings and rooms for your classes. Know how to get from one class to the next. Check out the class online ahead of time. You'll probably be using Canvas or Blackboard with your classes, so do a little bit of research into your class. Are there notes to download for day one? Go ahead and download them. Is there an assignment? There could be. Probably not an assignment, but you never know. But go ahead and take a look at the Canvas site real quick. Maybe buy your books ahead of time. This is a little risky because some professors might not actually require you to get the book. You can always buy the book and return it if you don't need it. But books you need will be listed on the syllabus. Maybe see it in Canvas or Blackboard, or they should also be posted in the bookstore, so you can go to the bookstore and find it there. There is a lot of financial benefit to buying a used book, as long as it hasn't been ruined by the previous owner. One thing you need to be careful of is sometimes you need to access online content that will only come with a new book. So just be aware of that. The class might require you to access a publisher's website. If it does, you will need to buy that access either with a new book or buy it separately. Come to class early. I don't mean 15 minutes early, but you should show up at least a couple minutes early and sit down and be ready to go at the time class starts. Is it an 8 o'clock class? Arrive no later than 7:55. and be ready to start working at 8. Having said that, if you are running late, still go to class. Late is better than never. Enter quietly and sit down right away. Pick the seat closest to the door so you disturb the class as little as possible. Afterwards, it's always nice to go up to the professor and apologize for being late. It happens, okay? But being mature about it will improve their perception of you. If you are someone who is chronically late, don't be. I don't know what it's going to take for you to overcome that problem, but don't be chronically late. Do whatever you need to do to get there early. Wake up earlier, leave earlier, pretend class starts at 7:55 rather than 8. If you're going through traffic and you're cutting it close, leave a long time ahead so you get to school early. Maybe you end up getting to class 45 minutes early most of the time. But every once in a while, traffic is bad, you'll still get there 10 minutes early. And when you're there 45 minutes early, you just use that time to do something useful. Some people will have trouble arriving on time because you might be slower, less able to make it across campus in the typically it's 10 minutes allotted between classes. If possible, schedule your classes so that you make it between them. If it's not possible to schedule your classes that way, talk to your professors about this ahead of time. They should be understanding. Do not begin to pack up until it is time to go. That's super rude. If class ends at 8:50, expect to take notes until 8:50 and then pack up and go. Don't start packing up until 8:50. Now, sometimes you might have to leave early for a particular reason, okay? Tell the professor ahead of time, I'm sorry, I need to leave a little bit early today. I have X, Y, and Z. That's fine. But it's obnoxious if it's 8:47 and you're putting away your notes and putting them in your bag while the professor is still leading the class. Now, there will be some faculty who, unfortunately, have little regard for the clock and will regularly go over the allotted time. Sometimes it just happens, right? We might be talking about fish and lose track of time. But I personally am very careful about finishing on time. That's my goal every lecture, to finish at the allotted time, because it's unfair to the students. Instructors need to have respect for the students' time as well as students having respect for the instructors. I talk about this later, but if a faculty member consistently goes over time, talk to them. When I say later, I mean in a later video. It's going to pop up. Okay? But if someone is consistently going over time, be polite, but point out that you have a class afterwards, and by going long, they're making you late. Finally, if you do know that you're going to be late or miss ahead of time, email the professor ahead of time and apologize. Say, dear Dr. So-and-so, I'm going to miss class on this date for this reason. You don't have to give details. You can say for a personal reason, or you can say I have to leave early on this date for a particular reason. I will arrive late. It's being polite, and trust me, being polite will pay dividends. So what else do you need for class? Make sure you have whatever supplies you need to take notes on the first day. If you want to record the lectures, bring a device ready to record them. But make sure you ask permission to record before you do so. When you come into class, where do you sit? It's up to you. Where do you feel most comfortable? That's the best place to sit. If you're good sitting anywhere, then I would suggest you sit somewhere in the middle towards the front. You don't need to be in the front row, but don't hide in the corner, okay? Try to be an active member of the class. While you're in class, be attentive. Put your phone on silent. Leave it in your pocket. Trust me, you can go without your phone for 50 minutes. If you're on your laptop or tablet, don't surf the web. Just stay focused on the notes that you're taking, the conversations you're having in class, whatever the case might be. Your goal should be to pay attention. Paying attention in class will do wonders for your understanding of the material. If you think you can just kind of take notes and then go study and learn it later because you would rather be watching Netflix during class, that is the wrong approach. Pay attention during class, take notes during class, and watch Netflix later. Text with your friends later. Trust me, you can do it, and it's the best thing for you. That being said, sometimes there are important things happening that you need to be connected with. Maybe someone in your family is having surgery. Maybe you're waiting for some other important information. If so, before class, just tell the professor that you're waiting for a super important call or text, and if it comes, you might have to leave the class. They should be fine with it. Leave your phone on silent so it doesn't disturb the class, but then get up and answer it outside of the classroom. It's best if you could sit in a seat right next to the door. Phone buzzes, you pick it up, walk right out the door, and then go ahead and talk. Okay, some more things about the first day. Your professor should talk about what the class is going to cover and what you need to do to be successful. Part of this is going to be going over the syllabus. Follow along carefully when they cover the syllabus. I know it can be boring. Professors think it is boring too, but we need to cover it so everyone understands the requirements of the course. Take notes on what the professor says. It's important to pay close attention. And then later that day, read the syllabus carefully. Know it. We'll talk about what you do with it in another video, but you should familiarize yourself with the syllabus. Know what is expected of you and when things are due. And then you can use that information to make some sort of a plan. All right, let's see. What else for day one? Meet the people in your class. Okay, you don't have to meet everybody, but if nothing else, introduce yourself to the people sitting next to you. Say, hey, good morning. How's it going? What do you think of this class? Oh, hey, didn't I see you over in my dorm? I think we're on the same floor. Ask them about their t-shirt. They're wearing a Star Wars t-shirt. Say, hey, have you seen the latest Obi-Wan episode? Or whatever the case might be, right? Just make some sort of connection. You don't have to have a super long conversation, but just a few words, and maybe you walk out of the class and you can talk a little bit, blah, 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 and you're sort of building something for the semester. Get to know your profs. Know their names. I'm always a little sad when I ask a student, an advisee, or maybe a student in one of my classes, the name of their professor, and they don't know it. I mean, I learned probably 90, 100 new names a semester. Okay? You have to know what? 5, 6 new names of your faculty every semester. Get to know them. Know their names. Know a little bit about their personalities. Professors are people too. And getting to know them can make school much, much more fun. Right? You're dealing with people on a more personal level. I recommend that sometime in the first, maybe second week, but no more than the second week, stop by their office hours to introduce yourself. Just say, hey, Dr. So-and-so, I'm this person. I'm in your 9 o'clock calculus class, and I just want to say hi. I'm very excited for this class. Thanks a ton. I'll see you around. Okay? That's very important. And then that way, when you need to ask them questions later on, maybe related to course material, you go back to office hours. Like, hey, how you doing? It's me again. I have some questions for you. Okay. So everything I've said to this point applies to the first day. Much of what I said applies to every day as well. Being there early, phones off, etc. I can only really think of 3 things to add for the remainder of the semester. These are things that are important before you go to class, just not really important for the first day. Know what is going to happen before you show up. There shouldn't be any surprises about quizzes or assignments when you come to class. A lot of this is going to be in the syllabus, Sometimes it involves paying attention to when the professor says something in class. We have to move our quiz to this date, or they send out an email and you read the email. Make sure you are keeping track of those things. This includes simply knowing what material is going to be covered and you're prepared for it. Related to that is read before the class. So you might be used to a teacher cracking open your brain and pouring knowledge in there while you sit back. Those days are over. The responsibility for learning is yours. Instructors are there to help, right? We do our best to help you learn this material, but ultimately, you're the one who's responsible. And a great way to prepare for lecture so that you get the most out of lecture is to finish the reading beforehand. That's going to help you understand the material better. So you've read it, you've been exposed to it, now you're going to get it in the lecture. The professor is going to help you better understand the material. It will also be helpful to know which questions you need to ask. So for each class, be ready to ask some questions about material that you're confused about. Now maybe you're not confused about anything from the past few lectures, from the readings, and that's great. Alright, so no questions are necessary. But if you're confused by things, so you were studying the notes from the previous lecture, you're confused about this material, or you were doing the reading ahead of time, like a very good student, and you're confused about something in the reading, you have a question. Write that question down, and then when you come to class, put up your hand at the beginning and say, Professor, I have a question about this. You're asking questions. That's going to help you learn the material best. Don't be shy about it. If you don't understand, there are probably other students who don't understand the same thing. That's it. Let's do a quick summary. Right? For the first day, you need to know where your classes are. Check out the class ahead of time on Canvas or Blackboard. Buy your books, possibly, and any supplies. Come early. Be ready to take notes. Be attentive. Keep your phone on silent. Put it away. Get the syllabus and read it carefully. Meet people in your class. And get to know your professors. Now, some of those are going to apply to every day as well, and some of these are things that will apply just to every day. Know what's going to happen before you arrive. Okay? You should have an idea that today we're going to have a lecture on this subject matter. Today we're going to have a quiz on this subject matter. Read before class. Do your reading before class and prepare questions to ask. That's it. As always, if you want a transcript, send me an email at that email address. Make sure you watch the next video, which is a weekly plan. Next couple of videos are super important, right? If you are unsure about how to approach your college education, the next couple of videos are going to be very, very important for your success. Thank you very much.